Hello and welcome to an introductory video for ancient battles and wargaming. I'm your host Mark, and this is, as I said, this is just going to be an introductory video to let you all know what we're going to be doing on this channel from week to week, and to give you an example, sort of what half of what this channel will be about. So as you see, I've loaded up a game here, Field of Glory 2, and I'm just doing an early Roman battle against the Etruscans, just so you have something to watch in the meantime, and so I can explain how the game works. But yes, each week, obviously, each week we'll be dealing with a battle. It'll be in two parts. The first part will be a presentation on that battle. It will be 5-10 minutes long, and it will be talking about the battle, what happened, lead up, consequences, that sort of thing, from the ancient world. So BC 3000 to AD 1461. And the second part will then be us putting the battle into here and fighting it and trying to see if we can change the result or do stuff differently, or even just try and get the same result at times. I mean, I probably won't be able to do the exact same tactics as there, because very often there's better stuff to do. But anyway, let's get to the actual battle at hand here. So we're using Field of Glory 2, and as you can see, we were doing a early Roman Republic against the Etruscans. So the Roman army back at this time was hoplite based, so that is what we are going to get plenty of. Plenty of armoured and armoured veteran hoplites. Because, well, you want to give your enemy a nice broad phalanx, don't you? A nice broad phalanx. So of course this is the Pre-Camillan reforms of the Roman army, which of course after which the Roman army moved into that old classic manipular style legions. Sorry, I'm trying to get my force composition right. As you see, we've got a river on one flank. And we'll have a reserve, I think, of some citizen hoplites. Mainly because I really couldn't tell you what else I should get. Well, I think maybe a couple more javelinmen, which are skirmishers in this game. So I should say a little bit more whilst we're setting up about Field of Glory 2. It's a brilliant little war game published by Slytherin and developed by Byzantine Games. Yeah, it allows you to fight battles throughout the classical and medieval periods. I really don't know what more I can have apart from that, really. We'll have this unit of slingers, just so we've... Actually, no, we won't have slingers. We'll have that unit of raw hoplites, I think. Just so we've got just a bit of reserve throughout the lines. And so there is our force at the moment. It's just a small force, it's only a small battle, it's a medium-sized battle. Well, it might have been just a bit smaller than medium size. Obviously, this is the symbol for armoured veteran hoplites, so obviously they look like Spartans, but don't take them as such. These would be good Romans. And I've just accidentally moved someone. So as you can see, I've got a set of commands here. So I'm going to have a sub-general with a cavalry command. Then I've got this infantry command. I'm going to move my general into the middle unit. He's the commander-in-chief, he's Blossius Firminius. But then I've still got 2 more generals. So I could put a general on the right flank. And we could put a general on this flank. So then we're going to want to add those units on the flank to that command, because that will allow us to move them all as a unit and move them quickly. So we will do that. As you can see, it's a simple war game and not that too graphically intensive. It's turn-based, so we rely on our tactical acumen rather than any sort of reaction times or anything. And as you can see, the Etruscans are coming towards us. Very interesting people, the Etruscans. They were obviously also hoplite-based army in this period. I think throughout their whole existence, actually. So anyway, we're going to move forward our skirmishers, just because we don't want them to start firing at us, basically. And then we'll move forward our main force. Just a nice broad phalanx. You see, it's a bit of a narrow battlefield, but nothing we can't really handle. And as you see, the unit sizes on here are they're about a cohort per, if you're going to use Roman terms, a cohort per unit. So as you can see, their javelinmen are charging my javelinmen and pushing them back, which is rather interesting. They've also brought archers with them. We did not have that option, so I tend to always go for archers in this game. And see, they've got missile troops on our flank also, which our cavalry should be able to push away, but the cavalry will pursue them, and so our cavalry will be out of action for some time. But it's better that than them attacking our flanks, isn't it? So indeed, I think we'll actually do that. Let's see, they evade. As will they. They should evade, unless they want to stand the fight. No. Let's see, they pursued. But next turn, I don't think I'm going to be able to move them because they're in pursuit of them, so... Anyway, we're going to try and win these skirmishes because, well, what are you doing if these aren't here to just die, so... We're going to move up our skirmishers. And then we'll move up the main body. Now, because these units have gotten close enough to the enemy, therefore I can't move them as a formation, so I've got to move each unit on its own. But yes, as I say, each week there'll be 2 videos, one about the history of the battle and the course of it, and then one where we actually play the battle on here. Periodically, there will also be videos where we look at like a particular army from a particular period. And in that case, it'll probably be accompanied by a custom game like this, where we can examine the army in depth. As you can see here, I've sort of been caught up by the river. Oh, I should have noticed that, really. A little tip for if any of you do play this game, always try and keep a reserve like the AI does. I mean, it may be raw hoplites, but you need a good reserve. As you can see, that unit went down 2 steps of morale. It was on disrupted at the start of the turn, then it went down to fragmented. Disrupted yellow is fragmented red. So that affects its combat ability. When it's fragmented, it can't charge. And obviously the step after that would be a white banner above it, and that will be breaking. And the goal is to, and I'll get it up in the top corner here, it'll be to obviously rout the enemy army by routing at least 40% of their troops and 25% more than we've lost, or just going straight for the 60% goal. Yes, so obviously breaking is the same as routing, but they can return if they do break. So we do have to watch out for that. But I'm going to continue pushing these skirmishers back. Oh! Okay, that was unexpected, but I can see why. It's because they're on a slope, and I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to try and... I'm just going to fall back. They got disrupted because there was a cohesion test, but it had to be done because otherwise there's going to be trapped around that hill there. Luckily, we can get up this hill before them. We're not quite in range to charge, but we are getting them into our zone of control, so their units can't manoeuvre. I think this earlier period of Roman history is quite fascinating. As you see, our skirmishers have sort of gotten in the way of our charge here. But there's nothing we can do about that. I'm already going to deploy my reserve somewhat to the right because that is where they're going to flank round, I suspect. To give you an idea of the numbers involved on this battle, we'll get our casualties up. So the enemy has 13,000, I have 9,500. And then I have lost more, but that was because of that stupid cavalry charge I did. And obviously the second video, if you comment on the first video of the week, then we can answer the questions in the second video also, which will be good because that way we sort of keep everything together. And there'll be periodic question and answer videos also. As I say, the next video should be out soon. I'm not going to reveal what campaign or battle it's going to be on, but I do. It's already made. So, as you can see, we're finally making contact with the Etruscans. Whether or not we're going to win. You see, their skirmishers are really going after our cavalry. And you can see the Romans don't have much in the way of cavalry because the Romans didn't have much in the way of cavalry. But look, we caught them, so we're able to actually get them into battle. And obviously the red number shows that you've lost a engagement. If both numbers remain yellow, you should be alright. And obviously the number which comes up is how many men you've lost. And as you can see, this unit's being engaged on two sides. So it's obviously not fighting as well because its attention is being split. We're able to move our archers out of the way, so this hoplite unit can move in on theirs. We can also move these javelin men back, which I am going to do because you need a good phalanx to try and push through with. I'm actually going to move these up mainly because I need to. There was no way for me to move this general unit up if I move them back. I'm actually not going to charge in with my general unit because I suspect one of them is going to come down there. We're winning on this left side even, mainly because we've got the hill. This is an interesting battle at the moment. And see, they're charging our skirmishers, but I had to leave them out there. And of course, they're bringing reinforcements over because they outnumber us. They have a bit more capacity for moving units around the battle. Whereas we are basically stuck in this phalanx versus phalanx fight. And you see me charging after their light units has exposed my units to their cavalry, but I do have some hoplites there to cover the flank, and as they've got spears, attacking them from the front would be foolish on the AI's part. There we go, look, finally we've got a unit breaking. Indeed, I am actually just going to try and just push them back. See, I've successfully engaged their subject, and I'm going to use him just to go after this poorly armed rabble, mainly because it should be an easy... Well, I was going to say it should be an easy win, but they... Obviously I'm fighting uphill here, so it'll be a bit problem to break through. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to turn this unit so I can get a flanking attack. Flanking attacks only work from the squares this way, this side and this side of them, and obviously rear, and from... Basically, it doesn't work from these three. If they're facing this way, it'll be from, well, the rear, I suppose, and to the side. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I've just realised I shouldn't really been explaining that, but never mind. So hopefully they'll break. Yep. It's interesting that they held firm. I'm a bit surprised also, I must admit. These probably won't. These definitely won't, but you can't not attack in that situation because, well, the game will do it for you when you press end turn. I could move him up, but he needs to hold his position there. These will break now, I reckon. Yeah. At least it clears the line, even at the cost of ruining our score, but... So see, I'm trying to engage them with multiple units at once, isolate and destroy one unit, then move on to the next. Although I was reading that this is probably far more tactical than battles around this period would have been. I mean, it isn't all that it isn't as tactical as the later periods, but you know, like, it is just two phalanxes going for each other, really. There's rather nice details in this game, because you can see they've all got shields. And oh yeah, I should have pointed out, generals have the bigger standards, so you know who they are. And we've pushed that, you know, and they've dispersed, they've broken. So we're doing quite well, but those hills on the right are going to affect us. So it's going to be our heavy infantry in the centre who might win it for us. So yeah, as I said, this is early Republic, where the Roman military was using the standard hoplite equipment, which, well, you know, was widespread across the Mediterranean outside of Persia at that time, and of course the Persians did use Greek mercenaries. Obviously the best example of that is Xenophon's Anabasis, the expedition to help Cyrus. Well, not to help Cyrus, they were just hired, weren't they? But you know what I mean. And of course that march, they just... that campaign, they had to march their way out of Mesopotamia, didn't they? And it's a grand tale, and there will be a few battles dealing with that, don't you worry. So here, I should attack them, but I'm going to see if these will break first, because if they don't break, it'll be an easy... Oh, there you go, you see? It's because I didn't. And because they broke, it affected the units either side of them. And as they're disrupted, they're not as good as they otherwise would be. I mean, this unit I've probably trapped here, which was rather stupid of me, but... You see, our veteran hoplites pushed them back quite easily. Actually, they have managed to punch a hole through our line, and I am going to turn them. I'm going to have to manually turn them just so they can deal with these armoured hoplites who've broken through. In the meantime, I'm going to just engage them with my skirmishes, is all I really can do. And not particularly effective, was it? But see, our right flank is under pressure. We really need our cavalry to stop chasing these down. Oh, they can. So they will be on their way back. Whether or not they will actually get back in time to influence the outcome of this engagement, who knows? I mean, they should do, but... you don't want to take chances. At the moment we're winning slightly, but it's too close to call. Obviously held firm is when they pass a cohesion check. Once again, that didn't really change much, but I'm going to try and push in. If we destroy their centre, then the rest of their force won't hold, will it? But unfortunately, we're going to get flank charged here unless we... Actually, there's no way around it, is there? Which is a shame, but we should be able to deal with it. So yes, at the moment actually I don't think this battle's going as well as it could because we sort of been taken a bit off guard by the terrain. They're still pursuing, unfortunately. But we will see, we will see. But the fact that they're being able to rally units is a bit off-putting, perhaps. I should have moved them up the hill, I suspect. Now I'm going to be facing an uphill battle. Oh dear. Righto. So, as I did say, we were getting a bit pegged back, but our cavalry coming in from the flank might be able to change that a bit. Providing we can keep this cavalry engaged. Which we should be able to, therefore. I see there was a flanking charge there. But we can't attack them because but we will flank charge them once they've broken through. See, that's why reserves are important. Actually, I think we might lose this, so that'll be quite an amusing result. Not particularly what we want on the first video, but never mind. But if we just set out to win everything, we're not going to learn from our mistakes, are we? Our mistake here was charging in far too early and getting caught up against the bottom of this hill. And not moving them up when we should have. As you see, they have already broken a large part of our line. If our cavalry manages to do a bit of work here, then we might stand a chance, but I really don't think so. Oof, dear. As you can see, we are being affected somewhat by just the sheer volume of men they have. Oh, look at that, we've got a bit of a chainmail there, which is good. No, that was quite good there. We did well in the left, or left middle. Look at that flank charge. That flank charge was quite good for us. Going to move our cavalry up there. They're going to do a bit of a longer flanking march. Oh, we did break quite a lot of them just then. Problem is, I don't think I've done that quick enough to save my armoured veteran hoplites, who are clearly living up to their name at the moment. But I'm going to try and get their CNC with our CNC. You do get the Nemesis achievement if you haven't done that before, but I have done that. Before they get recharged, we're going to try and hopefully I've zone of controlled them so they can't charge in our rear. Because each unit has a zone of control in front of it. Let's try and see if I can get the symbol up. There, it's that red dotted line. If a unit's in that zone of control, then they can't move. They'll have to engage the unit whose zone of control they are in. As you can see, we're very short of men in the centre. Ah! Not what we wanted. But at least our troops are rallying a bit, huh? So our cavalry did do what it was meant to do there, which was good. We're going to have to fight that way just so we actually just turn our flank a bit so we don't get flank charge, which we can't do at the moment, I don't think. We might be able to, I don't know. But you don't want to get flank charge. That is, there's one lesson I hope you can take away from this in terms of how to play the game is do not get flank charge. Of course, they were going to auto-break because they'd lost far too many men. Oh, look, my javelin managed to rout their javelin, which is half good. We're going to move our hoplites after their armoured hoplites, just to try and keep them occupied. It'll be the units who have broken through in the middle will decide the battle. I mean, if we somehow managed to open up the gap to plus 25, we would have won by now, but we have lost far too many men for that to happen, and we're just going to have to try and push them over the 60% threshold before they push us over. And the fact that their troops are rallying makes me half suspect that might not happen. But yes, as you can see, this is quite typical of the archaic and early classical periods warfare. Very little in the way of actual tactics. It was just two hoplite phalanxes meeting, and usually whichever side was able to push the hardest would win. Though in this case, even though we've basically pushed each other and broken apart each other's phalanxes, so as you can see, they've managed to bring us back to only a 3% gap. I had to charge them because they were going to charge my armoured hoplites in the flank. Ooh. My general's taking losses, but at least he's fighting on. But yes, as I say, unless we get a bit of a miracle here, I do not think we're going to win. Get a few rallies. We are actually losing for, I think, the second time in this battle. I think we were losing earlier, weren't we? We're not getting the results in the middle for us to win the game, which is the disappointing thing. Still at +2. Managed to bring it back to evens. Got our cavalry ready to flank charge them if they rally. Our cavalry here hasn't really had the effect we wanted it to. Ah, glorious. So we managed to get it to a 1% gap now, but I just don't think we have the men to actually push ourselves over the line. We've been zonal controlled by them, so we've got to charge them. Which probably wasn't the best thing to do, clearly. Our Commander-in-Chief is broken, so I think I'd be fair in saying it is all over now. Which is a shame. It was a good battle, though. I think you can see the amount of fun we are going to have with this brilliant little game. If, of course, you think I should have done anything better aside from holding my troops back, which is the only thing I can think of, then do please comment below and say you're a bit of an idiot. I think my CNC just lost too many. He reached the auto break threshold because he lost so many men pushing through the middle. So we are more or less beaten, but they need to get 5% more of us, which I think equates to about a unit or two. Yep, there we go. They have beaten us unless we rally. So they've quite decisively beaten us, really. So 17%. As long as we don't get to 25, well, you know, if you get to 25, that's... There we go. We have lost heart. We are defeated. No, we cannot. As you see, it was on governor difficulty, so it wasn't on the easiest, wasn't on the hardest. It was on just above middle. So there are relative strengths. As you see, we were outnumbered, and if you don't try not to take into account the amount of... Actually, we did lose in the actual battle anyway. I mean, the captured and deserted is, I think, a percentage of your remaining force on the field. But it killed and wounded. Yes, we did lose that properly. You know, our units were. So there you go. That is Field of Glory 2, and as I say, the next videos will be up soon. We'll be dealing with, I wouldn't say an unknown battle, but you do have to know your ancient history. So as I say, thank you very much, ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time.